Hey, my friend, welcome to the Art of Online Business podcast. My name is Rick Mulready, and I'm an online business coach. I'm an ads expert, and most importantly, I'm a dad. And this show is where we help established online course creators and coaches create more profit, more impact with less hustle. All right, let's get into it. All right. What's up, my friends? Welcome to episode number 635 here in the podcast. And today is another quick tip episode here on the show. And today I want to share with you, I'll call it a regret. I'll call it a huge missed opportunity for me. And I'll call it a mistake that I've made in the business. And I want to share this with you because I don't want you to make this same mistake that I did and miss out on this opportunity. And I don't have any regrets in the business, right? I'm coming up on 9 years of having this online business and I don't have many regrets, but I would say what I'm going to be sharing with you today is definitely one of those things that I wish I started sooner. Now, of course, we can't change anything in the past. We can only change going forward. And that's what I'm doing. And so my goal for you today and from Wednesday's episode that you just hopefully listened to before this episode, and coming up in part 2 of my conversation with Pat Flynn around YouTube, my goal for you is to really consider adding YouTube to your existing business as an additional marketing channel, right? One of the best things, and this isn't anything new, and I talk about this all the time, but one of the best things that we can do for our business is diversify our traffic, right? Not just rely on one thing. Now, granted, you want to essentially get really good at one marketing channel and then move on to the next. Now, I've been podcasting for 9 years now and I love it, right? I mean, I'm on episode 635. So between the 2 podcasts I've ever had, I've published 700 episodes over 9 years. And I just love the medium and I absolutely attribute it hugely to the success of my business. Now, with that said, I definitely regret not starting YouTube years ago because the way that I view YouTube is that you're building a long-term asset. You're building something that can give you returns for years to come. Literally, it can grow your email list. I don't want to call it passive results because you do have a lot of work to do in order to, I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy, right? It takes work to be creating videos, but you create the videos and then you let YouTube's algorithm do the work for you. Now, as long as you're doing some of the things that I'm going to share with you here today. And so you're creating a long-term asset that has the potential to be kicking out, growing your email list, selling your products, resources, courses, your coaching program, making advertising revenue for you for literally years to come. Because remember, YouTube is the number 2 search engine, right? And they've also, as you know, over the past year and a half, added YouTube Shorts. Well, YouTube came out in April of 2022, this year, saying that in the first quarter of the year, YouTube Shorts was averaging 30 billion with a B views per day. And YouTube really sees Shorts as a way for us creators to reach a new audience who may then become more regular viewers of our, quote unquote, longer form content, our regular style, if you will, YouTube videos on our channel. So it's another, we have this such amazing opportunity. And Pat talked about this on Wednesday's episode where he said, he called it YouTube is the number 1 place to go get organic traffic. And that is because of the YouTube algorithm. It allows our videos to be watched by people who don't even know that we even exist. And the way that, and Pat breaks this down really way better than I can, but Pat breaks it down on Wednesday's episode, talking about how the algorithm, already how it works, right? So if you put out a video, for example, and people click on that video and actually watch the video, the algorithm is going to send it out to more people, right? Podcasting does not work the same way. Having your show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts doesn't work that way. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, obviously, because podcasting is my number one platform, I love podcasting and I wholeheartedly recommend it. I think also, especially in this day and age that we are living in, it's all about video, right? And so again, the YouTube algorithm is really set up to help you get found, to get identified, and to build an audience of people watching your videos. And if you could help YouTube keep people on the platform, like that's what YouTube wants, right? Then meaning like, all right, you finish a video and you point somebody to another video on your YouTube channel, then that video, like YouTube is going to keep pushing your videos out because essentially you're using the algorithm, if you will, in the way that YouTube wants you to be using it. And so if you have an existing business, I absolutely recommend that you start really seriously considering adding YouTube as a marketing channel for your business. This is the biggest regret. I'd say the biggest regret that I have, one of the biggest regrets that I have in my business, that is that I didn't start my YouTube channel earlier, meaning like several years ago, because my podcast had already been growing, gaining steam and everything like that. It's been doing really well, thankfully, and all thanks to you, the listener. I just wish I started YouTube a long time ago. And, I can list out all the reasons why I didn't, but I can change going forward. I can't change going back. And I really want you to seriously consider that and not make the same mistake that I did. And so some of the things that Pat talked about in Wednesday's episode, he talked about the importance of the title and thumbnail. Now, this was a huge aha and mindset shift for me, because I always thought like, oh, okay, here's the topic I want to create a video about. And so I go create the video and then I do the title and have the thumbnail created. Well, as Pat talked about on Wednesday's episode, you got to flip that on its head. And what that's really about is you create the title first, and title and thumbnail first, and you come up with different ideas, right, for different titles. So once you land on a title that you want to kind of start out with, the title dictates what's happening in the video, like the arc of the video, what the video is about, etc. And he talked about, because the title and video are title and thumbnail are so important, because we have to get people to click on our video, right? And clickbait and all, he talked about clickbait, and the reality is that if people are not clicking on our videos, then why even bother? We have to get people to click. That's why he talked about the importance of title and thumbnail. Now, for me personally, I am not very good at coming up with like the snappy title and, that sort of thing. So a thing that I do is I use tools like copy.ai, and they have a free version of it, and also jasper.ai. These are just artificial intelligence tools that help you with copy, right? So if you're looking for hooks, if you will, for an ad or for a video or for a TikTok video or whatever it might be, you can put some information in there and it'll kick out different options for you. If you're looking for YouTube video titles, like we're talking about, you can give it some information and it will give you a whole bunch of different options to choose from. And so it's just a simple hack that if you're somebody like me who has a hard time coming up with, catchy titles, then there's other resources that you can use to make it so much easier. And that's what I'm doing with my videos, as I start to create my game plan here going forward with the YouTube channel. And another huge aha that I had, because I like to say recovering perfectionist, but hey, let's be honest. When I did my very first YouTube video on my channel a few months ago, I think I did the hook probably 47 times. And before I was like, heck with it, I'm going with this. And I was like, no, it's not good. It's not good. And, what Pat talked about is something that he and I have talked about for a long time. And this has been a big mindset shift for me again, is that the first thing you have to realize when you're getting into YouTube is you don't need to be extravagant to see results. You don't have to do the fancy editing and stuff like that. Can come later. Pat talked about you can literally approach YouTube, at least to start out with, right, as a way of creating a library of resources that, like answering frequently asked questions. So you get a question all the time, create a video of you answering that question. That way, when people, we have to remember that people are coming to YouTube to search for answers to questions. Well, we can use our channel to be able to answer those types of questions that our ideal audience, the people that we serve, is out there asking, right? And so whenever somebody comes to your business, for example, or comes to your customer service or what have you and asks a question, you're like, oh yeah, you can send them over to the YouTube channel to that specific video and you answer it for them right there. And that, not live, I mean, but you have a video that answers that question. And then they're like, holy cow, this is great content. And then they start watching more of your videos. The key here, the one of the biggest takeaways that I have, and this is what I'm doing in growing out my YouTube channel and building this long-term asset. Again, this is how I'm looking at my YouTube channel. And I want to encourage you to look at, if you're already doing YouTube, you can always be doing things better, right? And picking up tips and so forth. If you're thinking about adding YouTube to your existing business, I want to encourage you to think about it this way. Just simply think about it in terms of consistency. So for me, I don't have subscriber goals. I have consistency goals. I want to put out 1 to 2 videos a week over the next 12 months, right? And Pat said in Wednesday's episode, approach your first 100 videos knowing that it's not going to grow your channel right away. But the idea here is that we're planting seeds so that maybe one of these videos, like I talked about, the algorithm before, maybe the algorithm picks up on one of these videos and then that gets pushed out a whole bunch. And that in turn is going to grow more of the channel, right? And so look for consistency. Again, my goal is just 12 months of consistent videos each and every week. And we can't gain any kind of traction if we're not doing that, if we're not putting our videos out there. And again, big lesson here is that they don't have to be all amazing quick cuts and fancy graphics and all that stuff. That stuff can come later. But the idea is get your stuff out there, start creating and establish that consistency. I firmly believe that this is a huge opportunity, even though I get the question all the time, is it too late? Have I missed the boat to start a YouTube channel? Heck no. Again, it is still the number 2 search engine, right? And the number of, I forget the huge number of hours of content that gets uploaded onto YouTube every single minute. It is massive. And that's a huge source of people's attention, watching video, and this as you listen to the podcast here, video is where it's at and where it's going. And so adding a YouTube channel to your business is a huge opportunity, right? And by the way, we talked about it in Wednesday's episode. I'll talk about it again next week. But, Pat offered $50 off his YouTube from scratch online course to all of you. So for 5 days, starting on Thursday, September 22nd through the 27th, when you go to rickmulready.com/Pat, you can get $50 off his YouTube from scratch course, which I think the regular price is what, $497 or $499 or something like that. Then you take $50 off of that. It is the 4th YouTube course that I've bought over the past year. It is by far the best one. I'm not just saying that because, Pat and I are so close or he's on the podcast here. It really is. It is step by step, building your YouTube channel, getting your first 1,000 subscribers, especially for the super low investment for the course. And so the other thing too, by the way, is Pat gave a whole bunch of content ideas in part one on Wednesday. So definitely, if you've not already listened to that part one, make sure that you do, right? And again, it's so important to be consistent, that you want to have a system in your business, just like you do with everything else, that you've got some sort of project management for building out your YouTube channel. So for me, I use Airtable, right? And we create a Trello style board, they call it Kanban or Kanban. I'm a very visual person. I love the board style. And so this board that we've created allows me to plan out my videos and track the progress of the video creation, like from idea to scripting, if you will, to, okay, thumbnail, to filming, to editing, to publish, that sort of thing. And so what I want to do is I want to give you that template also when you enroll in YouTube from scratch through that link. So yes, I am an affiliate for Pat's program, and I get a small commission if you do enroll. You're getting $50 off the $497 price, and I'm going to give you some bonuses as well. One of which is the project management board that you can turn around and use. If you don't use Airtable, you can use it in ClickUp or Monday or whatever you want to do. You can just take the concept and use it in your software. So huge opportunity that exists with YouTube. And coming up on next Wednesday's episode in part 2, we're going to be diving into YouTube Shorts. We're going to be talking about the case study, that how he's built his Pokemon channel based on the concepts that you're learning here. And then he goes into much more deeply into his course. And we talk about editing and all that fun stuff. So that's coming up in part 2 next Wednesday. Hopefully, I'm going to keep you updated on my progress here on the YouTube channel too, but I wanted to share with you some of the things that I'm doing, and based on what we talked about on Wednesday and the mindset shifts that I'm going through. And I really don't want you to miss out on a big opportunity. And I really feel that I have. And so I'm changing that going forward as well. So thank you, my friend, as always, for listening to today's episode. Appreciate you. I'll see you for part 2 with Pat Flynn next Wednesday. So until then, be well, and I'll talk to you soon.